Hello and welcome to NetApp TV. In this video, we will demonstrate how to map an Azure Managed disk in single node and HA CVO system. As you can see, I have deployed two Azure CVO clusters, one as single node and another as HA, using my connector, NetApp KB connector. To just simplify things, I have deployed all the systems in a same subnet. To understand how to map your managed disk for a single node Azure CVO cluster, let's try to log in to the cluster management IP. I have copied the cluster management IP and let's try to connect to a single node Azure CVO cluster management IP. Let's log into the cluster management IP of a single node Azure CVO. I have logged into the single node Azure CVO and I am trying to run the command as shown. As you can see, there are two disks added. One is net 1.1 and net 1.2, and there is something called LUN ID here, that is LUN 5.0 and LUN 5.3. Now let's try to log into Azure. I have the cluster deployed in this resource group. Let's go to the VM. Type disk here. Let's go to the disks. And now let's try to compare. If you can see, there are 4 disks attached to the cluster, out of which the NVRAM and core are created by default, and the LUN ID as shown here is 5.0 and 5.3. The last digit of the LUN ID is what you use to map with the Azure cluster. If it is 5.0, the last digit is 0, that means the LUN ID is 0. If the LUN ID is ending with 5.3, the last digit is 3 and the LUN ID will be 3. As you can see, that is a data disk with 500 GB of space. So this is how you map your Azure Managed disk for a single node cluster. To understand how to map your managed disk for a HA cluster in Azure, let's try to log in with cluster management IP. I have copied the cluster management IP. I am connecting to the NetApp CVO HA cluster using cluster management IP. Run the command as shown. As you can see, you are seeing 3 disks with names net 1.1, net 1.2, net 1.3, but the disk path you see multiple node names, that is NetApp HA cluster node 1 and NetApp HA cluster node 2. Similarly for all other outputs. Also you can see the LUN IDs here, 5.0, 5.3, 5.0, 5.3 and 5.4 and 5.4. To understand how to map your managed disks for a HA CVO cluster, let's try to log into Azure. I have the cluster deployed in this resource group. I am opening up the VM1 and VM2. Let's go to disks. In both the tabs, if you can see the output, it says disk's path with node 1 and the corresponding LUN ID as 5.0. As we already know, the last digit determines the LUN ID here. If it is 5.0, the LUN ID 0 here should be of 512 GB. Similarly for node 2, the LUN ID ends with 5.3. The last digit is 5.3. And if you can see, the third LUN ID disk is about 512 GB of disk. This is how you map your managed disk for both single node and HA CVO system. We hope you find this video helpful. Thank you for watching and please subscribe to NetApp KPTV for more informative videos.